What's up, Twitch? Let's do it. Thursday night, ready for the big game. Jets and Broncos. Yeah. You know what? I think it's going to surprise people. It's going to be competitive, a little sloppy, but ultimately there's going to be a thrilling fourth quarter finish. It'll come down to a game-winning field goal attempt. I don't know if it's going to go in or not, but stay tuned to the end of this one. Adam Azer, Frank's Jets fan, Frank Stanfield. What's up, Frank?
This is the Jets watching party, right, Adam? That's what we're here for?
Yeah, oh yeah. We're staying on for the whole game. No, definitely not. Staying on until 8 o'clock, answering your questions. And we've got Jacob Gibbs joining us for the first time since the season started. Jacob Gibbs of Sportsline, best hair in Sportsline, Chiefs fan, smart man, knows to root for a good football team. What's up, Jacob?
Not much, man. I big Chiefs fan, ready for the Broncos to hopefully lose tonight. And if not, then it might be the end of Adam Gase, which would be great for fantasy. So either way, I think this is a win-win for fantasy. I'm excited for it.
Don't you think the Broncos are, like everybody's hurt? The Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. They just beat the Ravens. You really need the Broncos to, aren't you above that now?
You haven't had to be a Chiefs fan for the past 20 years. I'm sorry, okay? You didn't have to be a Chiefs fan during the Peyton Manning era, okay? There's no let up. There's no mercy.
All right. Well, listen, guys, ask us your questions. We'll be answering them all night. As far as this game goes, Jamison Crowder is active and Phillip Lindsay is inactive. So, guys, how comfortable are you starting Jamison Crowder, Melvin Gordon, Noah Fant, and then I guess Jerry Jeudy would be a little questionable as well. Frank, give me the starts in this game. Who are you comfortable starting?
Yeah, I think Melvin Gordon first and foremost. I think he's a high-end RB2 with no Phillip Lindsay. The Jets are allowing 4.7 yards per carry to running backs this season, and they've allowed some really, really big plays. So I think Gordon is a high-end RB2. Don't really want to trust Jamison Crowder. I know it's his first game back. He should see the targets, but, they're Sam Darnold targets, so they're not really that great anyway. I think he's just outside of my top 36, so not even a low-end wide receiver 3. He's, barely a flex if you're desperate in a PPR league. Jerry Jeudy, I would play over Jamison Crowder, although he does have Brett Ripien as his quarterback. Which
you would start Jerry Jeudy over Crowder, huh?
I would, yeah, I would, just because of the talent, and he leads that team in target share this season, 22% target share. But if I was ranking the starts, it would be Melvin Gordon, Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy, Jamison Crowder, and then Frank Gore.
Okay, and I like Crowder better than Jeudy. I like to see something from Jeudy. Maybe this is the day. He does have 7 to 9 targets in every game, but. You might have to start these guys because the Titans and the Steelers are out. So maybe you're a little bit more desperate this week. I just want to tell y'all, Sunday afternoon, Jacob, you're going to love this. The Twitch Lowe's Chiefs Patriots home team watch party at 4 p.m. Damian Williams is joining us and Danny Woodhead is joining us. We're going to be talking to these guys while we watch the Chiefs Patriots game. So join us on Sunday. Looking forward to that. All right, let's rock and roll with some of your questions here. And not many of them will be about this game, but here's one from Woody V2. How are you feeling about Chris Hogan tonight? And actually, the inactives just came out. I don't even know if do we know if Chris Hogan's in tonight?
He's playing.
Okay. How do we feel about Chris Hogan tonight?
No Hogan for me. I think if any Jets, it's going to be in the slot. I was excited to target Braxton Berrios here, but it is going to be Jamison Crowder. I think Denver, they're by far their worst coverage spot in their cornerbacks is against the slot. I don't want any Hogan. I don't know. What do you think on that, Frankie?
No.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with Chris Hogan. I agree. I would have been a little bit more intrigued in Braxton Berrios if Jamison Crowder was out in this spot. He scored a touchdown in back-to-back games, but no chance I'm getting involved with Chris Hogan in this spot. If you do have to use a Jets wide receiver, which obviously you don't, I think it has to be Jamison Crowder.
Okay, G. Kozak 50. Pick 2 to start and 1 to flex. Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Darrell Henderson, and Raheem Mostert. So I don't think Mostert is going to play.
Yeah, I'd be shocked.
That makes this pretty easy. But if you were ranking them, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, and Darrell Henderson, how would you rank them?
I actually have Chubb lowest out of that group, which will surprise people. And that will change if Kareem Hunt ends up sitting. We don't know on that yet. But I'm super excited for Darrell Henderson. They're huge favorites. The Rams rank third highest in game script neutral run rate, which means when the game's close, they really, really want to run the ball. And they're probably going to be able to against the Giants. I think Darrell Henderson's going to have a huge week.
The game's not going to be close for much, but they won't be trailing, that's for sure. Yeah, they'll run the ball. That's Jamie's start of the week. So you like Henderson? I'd still go with Jonathan Taylor over him, but
Yeah, me too.
So Taylor, Henderson, Chubb, you're going?
Yeah.
Really, that Browns-Cowboys game is really interesting to see how it goes because Nick Chubb has 3 targets this year. So if they fall behind, it might be a disappointing day for him. But if they're competitive, he's so good. He's averaging 5.7 yards per carry. Hopefully you can start them all. In terms of the wide receiver, Jamison Crowder, Cole Beasley. Ooh, all right. Let's see how much. I get the feeling that Jacob might like Crowder more than Frank does. Crowder, Beasley, with John Brown practicing today. Higgins, Shenault, and Landry. Pick 2. Crowder, Beasley, Higgins, Shenault, Landry. Crowder has to be one of yours. Has to be. Come on.
I think it's Crowder and Landry for me. I'd like to, if you could wait until Sunday and see if DJ Chark's going to play and potentially maybe put Shenault in over him. But since you can't, I think you got to go with Crowder out of that group.
And Landry, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Frank?
Yeah, I'd probably go the same way. Odell Beckham is dealing with an injury now, too, that just popped up, and the Cowboys have struggled against slot receivers all year. Jarvis Landry has not been good, but they are dogs in this game. There's a lot of that. So it's like 8 games with 50 or more point totals this week, and the Browns and Cowboys are one of them. So if they're playing from behind and Odell Beckham is hampered at all, then we are probably finally going to see a Jarvis Landry game.
Do I start from Jamey? Do I start Jamison Crowder or DJ Moore?
DJ Moore.
Well, look, I'm starting DJ Moore as well. The Cardinals are giving up like the 2nd fewest fantasy points to receivers or the 4th fewest. But you look at the 2 good ones they've faced.
Mm-hmm.
It was
McLaurin
Galladay and McLaurin, right? They both had big games. So I think Moore will be fine. I have Dalton Schultz from B1653. I have Dalton Schultz. Should I trade Kittle and Mixon for a star running back? Kittle and Mixon for a star running back if I have Dalton Schultz.
I like Dalton Schultz, but I'm not that confident. I think, unless you're getting it depends what you mean by star. If you're getting one of the top 2 or 3 guys, then yeah, I would be fine with that because I'm a little bit down on Mixon, but otherwise, no.
Yeah, if you could turn it into Kamara, Zeke, Dalvin Cook, or Aaron Jones, I would say that's probably, the top right now. Derrick Henry, too, I guess, is in that mix, but I don't know if the other person would actually take that trade.
Yeah. I don't know how much people want Joe Mixon right now. We laid it out. His schedule upcoming is pretty rough. From Del Ponte 09, Nyheim Hines or Ronald Jones PPR? This might depend on Leonard Fournette's status as Fournette's dealing with an injury, but Nyheim Hines or Ronald Jones?
Yeah, it's going to depend on the injury, but I think I would go with Rojo.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay. Rojo it is. Keep the questions coming. Odell Beckham or DJ Moore?
I have DJ Moore pretty easily. What about you, Frankie?
Yeah, I'll go DJ Moore. I was pretty excited about Beckham in this spot just because the Cowboys have gotten into shootouts, and we all saw what the Seahawks did last week. Obviously, the Browns are not the Seahawks, but I kind of liked Beckham in the spot before he got hurt, but I'll still go DJ Moore.
If you're a DJ Moore owner and you are just feeling really concerned about him, I actually have a thread on my timeline that's pinned, and it shows every single target he's had this year. I think he's been really, really unlucky. Teddy Bridgewater has an 88% catchable target rate when targeting the rest of the receivers on the team, and it's 61% when targeting DJ Moore. So not even 2/3 of his targets have been deemed catchable. I think that's going to balance out. I think there are better days ahead for DJ Moore.
Yeah, and he's really had a very tough schedule. Actually, the Raiders are not bad against wide receivers. The only one who's had a big game against them, I think, is Robbie Anderson, who took advantage of a cornerback basically falling down. He had a 75-yard touchdown catch. Then Tampa Bay, we had a good game, DJ Moore, and then the Chargers. And I would say it's tough against Arizona, but Patrick Peterson's not really doing his thing this year. And then Atlanta's next week, so I think there could be some good production coming for DJ Moore. If there's not, then we can revisit. Yeah. All right, how about Serial Killer B? That's interesting. 2 points per 5 carries and half-point PPR. Malcolm Brown or Jeff Wilson?
Did you say 2 points for 5 carries? Was that a scoring system?
And half PPR. Malcolm Brown against the Giants or Jeff Wilson against the Eagles?
Those two are pretty close. I don't like the matchup for Wilson just because Philadelphia is pretty tough against the run, but I think I would lean with him because he's definitely more likely to get more carries. than Brown. I don't know. What do you think of that, Frankie?
Yeah, we saw Jeff Wilson used more in the pass game last week too. McKinnon did go down, but yeah, he's always using the red zone. It's close, but I'll go Jeff Wilson as well.
Yeah, so McKinnon had like 14 carries in that game, and I got it right here. He had 14 carries, and when he got hurt, Jeff Wilson had, I think, 5.
Yeah, I've actually got interesting stat on that I just tweeted. I'm super high on McKinnon this week. In the first half of that blowout win, he played 81% of the snaps. McKinnon did. He had a 16% target share, 11 of the 16 running back touches, and he was on the field for 7 out of the 8 goal-to-go plays, which I think is interesting because Wilson does kind of get talked about as like a touchdown vulture. And McKinnon is someone that we wouldn't have thought would be involved around the red zone. But that's not what we saw last week. And they did say, I don't know if you saw this update, it was just 45 minutes ago, that McKinnon's good to go for week 4. Yeah. So I'm not like super high on Jeff Wilson. And like we talked about with Henderson, it is definitely a good spot for the Rams. That one's tough. I don't know.
From Prismodel, or that's probably not how you pronounce it. DJ Moore or Melvin Gordon, half PPR?
I will lean with the running back in half PPR.
I think I would go with Moore, and I am pretty high. And one thing I will bring up on Melvin Gordon, I seem to be a little bit lower on him than most people, which scares me a little bit because it's an island game and it's the worst when somebody goes off and you're low on them. But just at the point of attack, at the offensive line matchup here, I'm a little bit worried for Denver. Denver ranks 27th in adjusted line yards, and the Jets are ranked 2nd. And Frankie did mention they've given up a lot of yards per carry, but a lot of those came on huge plays to Raheem Mostert and Jerick McKinnon. And I don't think we're likely to see Melvin Gordon bust off a lot of those huge plays. And so I just wouldn't be surprised if Denver's line kind of struggles against a pretty good, the strength of the Jets defense is up front. So I think he's in a good spot from a volume perspective for sure. But I'm not super, super high on him. I think there's a lot more upside with DJ Moore.
Here's a question from the good doctor. Jamison Crowder, Hollywood Brown, or Will Fuller in PPR? And Fuller's on the injury report now.
Yeah.
Jamison Crowder, Hollywood Brown against Washington. They've actually been pretty good against wide receivers. And Will Fuller against Minnesota.
Yeah, I can't play Crowder in this spot. I think it comes down to if Fuller is healthy and he's playing, then I will use him over Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown has been a disappointment, but you're right. Washington's secondary has played pretty well this year, and the Ravens are huge favorites. So if they go up by a couple of scores, they just like sit back and run it with Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins. That's something I worry about. So if Fuller plays, I'll go with him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think you're right to bring up the point about Hollywood Brown. If it does come down to the two and Fuller is healthy, I think you do go with him because like 90% of his production has come in the first half in those first 2 games when they were in blowout wins. And I think we might see that again. He could definitely get behind their secondary, but if he doesn't make any big plays in the second half and they're up in a big blowout, I think you're going to be disappointed. But yeah, definitely, I don't think you can go with Crowder. The other guys just have too much upside.
DJ Moore is the player of the day, apparently. DJ Moore or Joe Mixon as a flex?
I'll go with DJ Moore there. I still don't think this is a great matchup for Joe Mixon. Like, everyone's talking up like the Jaguars' defense is bad. They've actually been pretty good against the run so far this year.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of volume. I'm not excited about it. I'll go DJ Moore.
I like that, yeah.
I don't understand how they've been so good against the run. I mean, this is a team that was like the worst run defense in the NFL last year, basically, and lost so many players from their defensive line, including Calais Campbell and at least one player who opted out. They're just like a total mess up front, and somehow they've been really good against the run. So I don't get it, but it's enough for me to be a little bit afraid of Joe Mixon this week. All right, let's see. We got a lot of questions coming in. I'm going to scroll down, get to some more recent ones here. Grade the trade from Robin Stanford. Half PPR, DK Metcalf for Julio Jones.
I'd rather have Julio.
Yeah, I'll go B+.
Yeah.
Okay. What should I do with Ronald Jones? This is from Ruiz G. What should I do with Ronald Jones?
I think you hold him if you're really desperate. I think he's in the conversation as a flex play this week, especially if Leonard Fournette is out. And I think if he has a good game, then you probably look to try and flip him.
Yep.
Yeah, especially to the Fournette owner. Right? He's just like, those guys are going to be useless, especially Jones if Fournette's healthy. Because I just feel like Fournette's going to get the touchdowns. It's going to be real crap like it was last year. From Brian, what receiver can I get for Joe Mixon?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah, okay, go for it. SA3 Roman, pick a flex in a standard scoring league. CeeDee Lamb or Jeff Wilson?
Yeah.
I'll still go with CeeDee Lamb. I was a little concerned over his snap counts this week, and then I looked into it. Apparently, he left with an ankle injury, but then there was a report yesterday from Mike McCarthy that said that they feel like they've been putting too much, they've been giving him too much work to start the season. So now I don't really know where they stand on CeeDee Lamb. I love the talent, but I will still go with him over Jeff Wilson, but it is something to pay attention to.
Yeah, for sure. I'm worried about CeeDee Lamb, but the game environment is so good there that I think I would just go with him and hope for the best. Neither one of them are good options, really.
All right, this is from Play Deadbolt. Without Juju Smith-Schuster this week, I'm stuck picking between Jamison Crowder, Darius Slayton, or DJ Chark in full PPR. Crowder, Slayton, or Chark?
Yeah, I would wait this one out. I would not start Crowder, and I think if DJ Chark plays, I would use him, and if DJ Chark is out, then I would use Darius Slayton. So I guess it kind of answers itself.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Frank, so why are you just worried about Crowder's health?
Yeah, like I wonder if we're going to see not his usual snap count. Like, is he going to play a full complement of snaps today? And plus, like, Sam Darnold just hasn't been good. I know that he targets Jamison Crowder a ton when he's actually healthy, but I don't know. It's just hard to get excited about any Jets player overall.
Yeah. So. Okay. Let's see. I just would love to know, can we get a question that's going to make Frank say start Jamison Crowder? We already had one earlier today. Sir Rollin 987, full PPR, Jerry Jeudy, Hunter Renfrow, or Cole Beasley? Jerry Jeudy, Hunter Renfrow, or Cole Beasley?
Kind of like Renfrow in that spot.
Yeah, I think I slightly lean towards Renfrow. It's a really good matchup for him, and targets should be up with all the injuries there.
Let me tell you something. If I were Jamey Eisenberg for one day and I were writing the start-sit column, Hunter Renfrow would be my start of the week. I don't know why I'm going bananas over Hunter Renfrow. The Bills are going to score points. They're going to need to throw. Darren Waller's got a tough matchup. Who else is going to get the targets? Love Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, plus
it's one of those situations that almost seems too obvious. Because like we saw everybody was on Cooper Kupp last week because of the matchup against the Bills. It worked out perfectly. And now we've got Hunter Renfrow with all these injuries. And it's just like, of course he should smash. And it just seems like it's not going to work out. But
no, it's going to be Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar. I'm so sure of it. It's going to be so annoying. All right, let's see. Galladay from Jacob. Galladay, Boyd, Mike Davis, or Robbie Anderson at flex. That's a tough call. Galladay, Tyler Boyd, Mike Davis, or Robbie Anderson at flex.
So I think if Marshawn Lattimore does not play, I would go with Kenny Galladay. And I mean, you saw what the Saints did last week. They basically shut down MVS. They like triple teamed him. They like bracketed him, did not let him do anything. I worry that if Lattimore's healthy, they will do something similar to Kenny Galladay this week. So if Lattimore plays, I would go with Mike Davis. If Lattimore is out, I would go with Galladay.
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on what the rest of your team's looking like going into the matchup. If you need an upside play, definitely Galladay. I do think Mike Davis has a really safe floor in any sort of PPR format.
Yeah. By the way, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is rostered in like 42% of CBS leagues. You got to go get him right now. Allen Lazard might need surgery. He's got a core muscle injury. So I think, people are kind of down on MVS because of what happened last week, but we've laid it out on the podcast. Just now, you heard Frank talk about it. They took him out of the game. He needs Devontae Adams on the field. And he was getting more targets than Allen Lazard before week 3. Granted, it was only 2 weeks, but still, this guy, I think, under-rostered before the Lazard news. Now I think you have to get MVS. Anybody disagree with that?
No, I think you're absolutely right.
Go get him.
I'll throw a deep dart at him, a deep dart at Robert Tonyan.
Yeah.
Scored a touchdown in back-to-back games.
Yeah.
And they're playing the Falcons, who just allowed 2 touchdowns to the corpse of Jimmy Graham. Robert Tonyan's actually running more routes recently as well. So,
all right, yeah.
Deep leagues if you need a tight end.
Love that call.
Okay, from Damian. Should I trade Josh Jacobs and DJ Moore? Josh Jacobs and DJ Moore for Austin Eckler and Amari Cooper. Give up Jacobs and Moore, get Eckler and Cooper.
That's really tough.
Yeah, it almost seems like a wash. I do worry. I don't know if they're actually going to do it. It seems like they are there are implications at stake if the Chargers do not go back to Tyrod Taylor at some point, and that is obviously going to affect the target share of Austin Eckler. So I think that I would just stay with the Josh Jacobs side.
I think so too. And I think you're trading more at the worst time. And like Adam highlighted earlier, he does have two pretty appealing matchups coming up. And so his perceived value might be a lot different in a couple weeks. You know, going into the year, he was somebody that most people valued higher than Amari. I think I would just wait on that one.
This is just a fun stat. I don't think it's going to hold up, but Dalton Schultz has 4 red zone targets for the Cowboys.
He's leading the team.
And the wide receivers have combined for 4.
Jeez.
Amari Cooper has 1, CeeDee Lamb has 2, and one other guy has 1. So that's who Dak so far is looking at. Ronald Jones or Will Fuller, half PPR.
I mean, it's definitely Fuller if his health checks out.
Yep.
What if Fournette's out though?
If Fournette's out and Fuller, hasn't practiced the rest of the week, but he's like playing, I think I would start Ronald Jones just because of the worry that Fuller might go out there and leave the game halfway through. Yeah, that's tough.
I think that's a good call, but I think if Will Fuller's health is good for the rest of the week and it looks solid on Sunday, then I would go with him in any type of PPR format.
Gambino Capo is here, and he says PPR. Oh, it might be a she. Sorry, Gambino. It says Goff or Newton. That's first question. Goff or Newton?
Cam Newton for me.
Yeah, for sure, Cam. Like we've alluded to several times, I think the Rams are going to be super run heavy. I wouldn't be surprised if Goff doesn't throw more than 25 times in this game.
Melvin Gordon or Todd Gurley?
Definitely Melvin Gordon.
Yep, Melvin Gordon for me.
Julian Edelman or Laviska Shenault?
Edelman, yeah.
Edelman's got a great history against the Chiefs in the last 3 times he's faced them. From Lane Brown, I was on your show a couple years ago in Cincinnati. What do you mean? What show were you on in Cincinnati?
Didn't you do some live shows, Adam?
We didn't do a live show in Cincinnati.
Oh, well then
I need more information, Lane Brown. Come on. DJ Chark or CeeDee Lamb PPR?
Chark if he's playing, I think, yeah. Pretty worried about CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, okay. From home runners, Russell Gage or DJ Chark, half PPR?
This one is tough because you won't know if Russell Gage is
Yeah.
playing unless they give us news over the weekend because that's the Monday night game. So if DJ Chark plays, I would use him. But
Yeah.
if DJ Chark doesn't, you need a backup plan just in case Russell Gage does not play on Monday night.
Yo, how about the A's? Very surprised. Really was all about the White Sox there.
Did they win?
They did. They won 6-4.
Oh, gosh.
No, like who wants the A's to win? I don't want the A's to win.
Apologies to any,
I don't even
apologies to any Oakland A's fans out
Oh,
there.
there's no Oakland A's fans. Give me a break. Come on, Frank. I wanted the White Sox to win for Dave Richard. He's so upset right now.
Poor
Love
guy.
the White Sox. All right. Half PPR, pick 2. Josh Jacobs, Melvin Gordon, Mike Davis, Myles Gaskin. Jacobs, Gordon, Davis, Gaskin.
I think it's Jacobs for sure. I think it's super close between Mike Davis and Melvin Gordon, but I will go with Mike Davis, given his target volume that he's seen without Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I would go Mike Davis second as well.
Okay. Just looking into Mike Davis's matchup here. Kind of hard to say. Let's see. The Niners running backs beat up Arizona, but then they've been pretty good against Antonio Gibson and Adrian Peterson. So it's not clear what kind of matchup we're looking at here. The Niners have a tendency to just destroy every run defense. So you shouldn't judge run defenses by what they do against the 49ers.
I will say on Mike Davis, I think it's important to note that what he's done so far in terms of the amount of targets is super unsustainable. He's been targeted on 42% of his routes run, which is insane. Austin Eckler led the league last year, and he was targeted on 28% of his routes.
Wow.
So, no one was even over 28%. That's definitely going to come down. But it is a good matchup for him to continue to see targets. But yeah.
All right, this is from TJ. Oh, no, don't do this, TJ. Should I drop Josh Kelly for Greg Olson?
Ooh, no.
No. From grilled cheese is best cheese. Okay, I like that.
I don't disagree.
What kind of cheese goes on your grilled cheese, guys? Gotta be American, right?
Nah.
I think it's like a combination, you know?
I was going to say like
Different
mozzarella or
kinds of
something.
cheeses on there.
Yeah.
Wait, so I say American. Frank, what do you say?
Yeah, you can have some American on there, but throw a few different kinds. Throw like American, Munster, cheddar.
Look, we're going to do a Twitch poll.
Crazy with it.
We're going to do a Twitch poll. I need an answer. Like,
all right, if I had to choose one, I would say American cheese, even though it's not real cheese.
You can do a combo. It's fine. Like, I'm going just American. What's on your grilled cheese?
Well, I would say combo.
But what's the combo?
Let's go American, cheddar, Munster together.
All right. Jacob, what's your grilled cheese?
I think cheddar definitely over American. I actually like provolone. I might put that on there if I'm doing a combo. I just don't like American cheese.
All right, Jamey Mazouskas, I hope you heard all those. Go ahead and set up a Twitch poll, a grilled cheese Twitch poll.
It's important stuff.
Jacob didn't. I think we might have to give him mozzarella on there just so. Is that provolone? You said provolone, right?
Yeah.
I've already forgotten. Just so something comes in last place other than my suggestion. Anyway, the question from Grilled Cheese is pick 2 in PPR. Michael Thomas if he plays, Jamison Crowder, Laviska Shenault, Brandon Cooks, Darius Slayton, Traquan Smith, T. Higgins.
I forgot the second and third receivers.
Second favorite. All right, so it's Michael Thomas, Jamison Crowder, Shenault, Brandon Cooks, Darius Slayton, Traquan Smith, T. Higgins.
Okay, so definitely Michael Thomas. I have Slayton higher than any of those other receivers.
I'm kind of excited about Brandon Cooks. Is that wrong? Like, I think we're going to get points in that game. Will Fuller is banged up.
Well,
but like 95 yards in week 2.
Yeah, especially if Fuller's out. Cooks is no, that's a good call. I haven't moved him up to adjust for the Fuller news because that came right before he jumped on here. But he would be in the top 40. He'd be ahead of Crowder.
This is a fun poll. What cheese goes on a grilled cheese? American / cheddar / Munster, provolone, other. All right, well, Frank.
That's horrible.
Winning right now with 52% of the vote.
Yeah.
Good job. From C White 22, who should I flex? Kenny Galladay or Kareem Hunt? PPR.
Galladay.
Banged up, man. I'm gonna go Galladay.
Yeah, Galladay for sure. And Kareem Hunt's been getting by with like just touchdowns. He's not playing enough snaps. I would be definitely leaning towards Galladay here.
Yeah, the thing about Hunt though, tell me what you think. I have to sneeze. I'll get to my sneeze in a moment. Kareem Hunt had 4 catches. The only game they were losing, week 1 against the Ravens, he had 4 catches in that game. So maybe this is more of a Kareem Hunt game if they're trailing to the Cowboys. Oh, the sneeze went away. I hate when the sneeze goes away.
Yeah, I think he could play more. That stat I referenced earlier with Mike Davis seeing way too many targets per route run, Kareem Hunt is actually the only one that's even close to him, where he also needs to come down. It's just not going to keep up at the rate that it's been at. I don't know. I get what you're saying, and he definitely could have another good game because this is supposed to have a ton of points scored in it. But all signs point towards regression in terms of his usage versus his production.
Adam, I have a fantasy philosophy question for you.
Fantasy philosophy. Frank's fantasy philosophy. All right, go ahead.
Is this unethical? I traded on Tuesday night Kareem Hunt and AJ Green to get Kenny Galladay in a league where I had a lot of running back depth, and then it came out the very next day that Kareem Hunt missed practice due to injury.
No, of course it's not unethical.
It's kind of messed up.
Just bad luck.
That happens. Messed up. You didn't know that.
Yeah, it's true. I still feel bad.
First of all, it's not like we know he's even missing the game. It's not like it might not be a serious thing here. And if it is, Nick Chubb, is going to be awesome. But he did miss practice. Oh, Nick Chubb might have a huge week this week. Okay, he's missed 2 practices with a groin injury. No, Frank, don't feel so bad. That was Frank's fantasy philosophy, brought to you by the letter F and PH. All right, let's see. More questions here. Mike Davis or David Montgomery from Reader 1? Mike Davis or David Montgomery?
Yep, it's Mike Davis for me there too.
Yep.
General thoughts on Jamison Crowder tonight in PPR?
I'll let Jacob answer because he seems a little more optimistic.
Yeah, I think it's just a matchup thing. Like, they already want to run their passing offense through Crowder, and he gets a matchup against undrafted free agent Essang Bassi, I think is how you say this name, who is 3rd in terms of like targets per snap covered in the slot, which means the quarterbacks are throwing at him all the time. And I think we're going to probably see that again because that's what Sam Darnold already wants to do. And so if you are confident that he's even 80, 90% healthy and is going to be out there for close to the amount of snaps he normally plays, it's a spot that sets up pretty well for him. If you can afford to wait and start somebody else later, I would, but I think he's not a horrible start.
Okay. Austin Dingman, full PPR. Who would you put in my flex? Darius Slayton, Russell Gage, or Jerry Jeudy?
I have Slayton highest out of that group.
I think it's pretty close between Slayton and Jeudy. I'd go with Slayton. Jacob, any concern over Slayton being shadowed by Jalen Ramsey or just seeing him in general in this matchup?
I mean, it is a little bit worrisome. I'm just a little bit lower on Jeudy than most, it seems. We don't know how the targets are going to shake out with a new quarterback. And in terms of snaps, he's been third among the receivers the last 2 weeks. I don't know. I think that we have a better idea of what Slayton's role is going to be. And like shadow coverage is worrisome, but it's not a big enough factor to move the needle for me there.
I don't think Jalen Ramsey, who, by the way, is not really having a very good year, I don't think he's going to shadow Darius Slayton, but I do think Slayton lines up on the left side a lot. And I'm pretty sure that's where Ramsey plays. I'm almost positive. So I think he's going to see a lot of Ramsey. And I'm nervous about him. I think I'd go Gage if you were playing. But that's a Monday night game, and you may not know. So the thing about Jeudy is, like, Brett Rippon might throw for 150 yards tonight. He might throw for 80 yards with 2 interceptions. You know, he might have one of those like comically bad games. I'm terrified. I have to start Noah Fant, but that's it for me in the passing game anyway. Okay, Chargers or Jets DST? Bad Moon Rising.
I'll go with the Jets. I have the Jets and the Broncos defense both inside my top 8 defenses this week. Like, we could just see a ton of sacks and turnovers tonight in this game.
All right, Damien305. Listen, we answered your trade question. Josh Jacobs and DJ Moore for Eckler and Cooper. It's about an even trade. This is one of this happens in Twitch. There are a few people that just ask the same question over and over again. We answered it. Hope that helps you. Thank you. From Father Rama, start two. Beckham, Gallup, Hollywood Brown, Gage, Lazard, not going to play, Beasley, Beckham, Gallup, Hollywood Brown, Gage, Beasley, start 2.
I think if Beckham plays, I will go with Beckham and Gallup. If Beckham does not play somehow, then I'll go with Brown and Gallup.
Yep, same here.
Nick Livin, half PPR, pick 2. Jacobs, Gordon. Oh, I think we answered this. Jacobs, Gordon, Mike Davis, and Gaskin. Who were you guys going with? Jacobs and
Davis.
Jacobs and Davis, yeah.
Okay. And
Gaskin's the lowest out of that group, but I am pretty excited for him. He's really been getting a lot more involved, and he's running a lot more routes from the slot and the perimeter lately. And this game could be a shootout, so I'm excited for him in this game.
Okay, and then the other part of that question was, Gordon's your third favorite in that group. Would you flex him over Will Fuller in half PPR?
Yes.
Yeah, especially with the uncertainty with Fuller's hamstring.
From Wilson Drew, Frank Gore or James White, half PPR?
Oh, gosh.
I'd go with James White. I don't want to play Frank Gore in this spot, and it's a much better offensive environment. They're going to be playing catch-up against the Chiefs. Chiefs allowed the most targets to opposing running backs last year. I think I'd go with James White.
Yeah, and I think the Patriots are going to try and get James White in the end zone to, celebrate the tragedy that happened.
Yeah,
so.
I would love to see him get in the end zone, and it's a good matchup for him. The Chiefs are just terrible against the pass-catching running backs. Here's a funny Twitch name that I'm not going to read. It's a little inappropriate, but it starts with unsolicited. So unsolicited asks, what do I do with the Ravens running backs? I have Dobbins and Ingram.
Gosh, I mean, I guess if you have to start one, I wouldn't really want to. I think Mark Ingram's more of a flex. They are huge favorites in that game. They're like 13-point favorites as of now, so they could be playing with a lead. But the problem with that is that if we get to the second half and they're up by 2 touchdowns or more, then we might even see Dobbins. So it's really hard to say. But I would say Ingram is a flex, and Dobbins is like right behind him, I guess. I wouldn't really want to start Dobbins, though.
Yeah, I would start Ingram, but yeah, I think we're going to see more Gus Edwards than you want as the Ingram and Dobbins owner. That's what we saw a couple weeks ago. Dobbins didn't even get carries in a blowout. They gave it to Edwards, so I'd go with Ingram.
Chris Herndon or Jamison Crowder?
Crowder for sure.
Crowder, there you go.
there it is.
From Mastiffs, I need two. Julio Jones, Robert Woods, DJ Moore, Nick Chubb. It's PPR. Julio Jones, Robert Woods, DJ Moore, Nick Chubb.
So if Kareem Hunt's out, then Chubb's definitely going to be in that group because he'll be like a top 7 or 8 running back this week. And then Julio would be the other one, right? It's just 2.
You just need to know if Julio is going to play. So hopefully we have that information because that's the Monday night game. But yeah, I think you're spot on. I think if Kareem Hunt's out, you would go Julio and Nick Chubb. If Kareem Hunt plays, I would go Julio, DJ Moore in PPR.
And so like if Julio ends up out for some reason, I do have Robert Woods 1 spot ahead of DJ Moore this week. But I do think the upside is a lot higher for DJ Moore. Like we've talked about several times, I think the Rams might be super run heavy, which would hurt Woods. But yeah, I do have him 1 spot ahead of him. I think he has a higher floor.
Couple questions about tonight's game from Cauliflown. Half PPR, Will Fuller, Jerry Jeudy, or Brandon Ayuk?
I would risk it. I would not play Jeudy. I would hope that Will Fuller plays. And if he doesn't, at least you have a fallback option in Brandon Ayuk, who was much more involved last week. George Kittle's going to be back, but Deebo Samuel is not returning till week 5. So not starting Jeudy. Hope that Will Fuller plays.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer. I'm confident enough in Ayuk in this spot. I think I would hope that you get Will Fuller as a start, and if you don't, then Ayuk's not that much worse of an option than Jeudy.
From Clays 369, Crowder, Renfro, or James White? PPR. Crowder, Renfro, or White?
I think I'll go Renfro.
Start of the week. My Adam
There it
start of
is.
the week, Hunter Renfro.
There it is. Love it.
N. Wilm 21. Standard scoring league. Dalton Schultz or Zach Ertz with a tough matchup?
I think you got to go Ertz, man, just because of that target volume. No Goddard. I saw they only had 1 Eagles wide receiver practice today.
It's
He's
insane.
probably going to see like 15 targets this week.
Yeah, it's Ertz, last man standing there. I am super excited for Dalton Schultz. Great matchup here, potential shootout. And the Browns have just been killed by tight ends. Their linebackers are really bad and injured. Logan Thomas didn't do well last week, but the game before that, Cincinnati threw their tight ends 15 times. And then we saw them turn around and only target their tight end once in the next game. So I think that was definitely a matchup thing. And we could see quite a few targets funneled to the Cowboys leading red zone target getter, Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, there you go. All right, congratulations to Frank. He won the Twitch poll, the grilled cheese poll, 54% of the vote. Way to go. We do have a follow-up question from Cali Cowboy. Quesadilla or grilled cheese, point per bite?
Oh, quesadilla for sure.
I thought this was going to be a hot rod reference, like which would win in a fight. But yeah, I thought for sure that's where that was going. But yeah, quesadilla is better than grilled cheese.
Dude, Hot Rod is one of the sneakiest funny movies I've ever seen. I watched it one night a few months ago with zero expectations and like laughed out loud by myself. When you're by yourself, laugh out loud, that is the true sign of great comedy. I was cracking up. Oh my God. You ever seen it, Frank?
Come on, Adam. No, it's just like I haven't seen any movies in my life.
This feels like the kind of movie you would see. You're a young man.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny and really stupid. If you're an Andy Samberg fan, I don't know if you've seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, maybe, like, it's pretty freaking good.
Yeah. I actually love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so I got to get on that then.
Yeah, Hot Rod, like, I thought it was going to be terrible, and it was very good. Okay, Crazy Bayesian, full PPR. Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Hunter Renfro. I don't know how many he needs, so let's rank them. Gallup, Lamb, and Renfro.
I think that's the order. Gallup, Lamb, Renfro.
Yeah, I have Gallup first for sure. I do have Lamb ahead of Renfro right now, but I think it's a lot closer than most people would imagine.
I'm definitely thinking Renfro over Lamb. And Gallup is not a PPR guy. Like he's a downfield 5 targets a game unless they're playing the Seahawks.
I just don't think you could sit him for Renfro. He has such high upside in this game with the amount of points they're supposed to be put up.
I'm so annoyed with Gallup. Like he's so with the anxiety because you have to start him. You have to start him. The Cowboys are too good. They run a ton of plays. They're by far the fastest offense in the NFL. But there's just going to be ups and downs with him. I don't think I'd have the stones to put my start of the week Hunter Renfro over Michael Gallup. But, I would definitely.
Renfro definitely has a safer floor than CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, honestly.
In
so like
PPR, yeah.
Yeah, if the rest of your team is just like absolutely stacked, or if you're going against a bad team and you just like want the floor play, I'd be fine with Adam's start of the week.
Hey, I'm gonna really regret this. A running joke of calling him my start of the week is just gonna bury me. This is from Plopalicious. Full PPR, I am trading Tyreek Hill for Amari Cooper and Tyler Higbee. My tight ends are Evan Ingram and Austin Hooper. What are your thoughts? Give up Tyreek Hill for Cooper and Higbee.
I don't think it's egregious, but I am a little worried about Tyler Higbee because he ran 16 routes last week. Gerald Everett ran 12. So, I mean, this was always kind of in the back of our minds. Like, everyone's having that Tyler Higbee debate in the offseason. Like, how involved is Gerald Everett going to be this season? And this is exactly what you did not want to see if you were if you have Tyler Higbee on your team. So, I'm a little worried about him. I don't think that this is like an egregious trade, but I probably would have kept Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I would not do that. I think Tyler Higbee is probably the most overrated player in fantasy right now. You alluded to the routes run, and I don't think people realize it because his snap rate is high and he's producing, so people probably just assume that everything is fine. But his routes have dropped every week, down to 16 out of 50 snaps last week. Only 16 were running routes. He's 30th in routes run among tight ends. He's 22nd in targets among tight ends. And it's not like he has some great red zone role. He's caught 3 red zone targets. They've all been touchdowns. So, like, I just – the team wants to be run heavy. They're using him as a blocker. I don't think there's any way the touchdown production keeps up. Yeah, I'd rather have Hill.
Yeah, by the way, Amari Cooper – the only thing I'll say, Amari Cooper in PPR is currently on pace for 53 more catches than Tyreek Hill, which of course won't happen, but he has 25 catches right now, and Hill is 15. But I just kind of a funny note there. This is from Football Guy 1021. Full PPR, Jamison Crowder. All right, here we go, Frank. You ready? Jamison Crowder, Mark Ingram, Josh Kelly, or Anthony Miller. Who do you start? Full PPR. Oh. Crowder for me.
I don't like any of these, really.
No.
Man, like, I kind of want to get behind Anthony Miller because isn't that like why we were all excited about D.D. Westbrook last year?
Yep.
Like, Nick Foles is the quarterback and he targets the slot wide receiver, so that is the role that Anthony Miller most often plays. Tough. I mean, the Colts defense has looked pretty good, but they just played the Jets, so it's like, all right, how good?
They're good.
No, they're good. They're good.
Cornerbacks are playing great right now. Maybe it's a competition thing.
I would probably go Crowder, but I think it's really close with Anthony Miller.
Hey, all right.
The thing with Miller is he's not playing enough snaps.
Yeah.
He played 42 and 40% of the snaps the first 2 games. It did come up to 57% last week. And so hopefully we see that continue to trend upward, especially with Tariq Cohen out. Maybe he does get a little more involved. But yeah, I just don't think you can trust it this week. I would go with Crowder.
From SAG 16, rest of season, Darrell Henderson or J.K. Dobbins?
I'd rather have Henderson.
Yeah, I think you have to go Henderson.
Okay. Here's an IDP question. Defensive line replacement for Chase Young.
I have no idea.
The only thing I can say is that I picked up Akeem Hicks in our IDP league. He's not going to get a bunch of sacks, although, wow, he has 3.5 sacks as a defensive tackle. But I picked him up. He's been really good. So other defensive linemen, gosh, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I wish I could help you there. Defensive line is a tough one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Tough position to find. DJ Moore or Mike Davis, PPR?
DJ Moore for me.
Oh,
that's tough. It's DJ Moore for me. I unless Mike Davis starts to run a lot more routes than we've seen, I do think his production is gonna slow down. And I think DJ Moore, man, that's tough.
I would go with Mike Davis. He had 7 red zone opportunities last week alone,
yeah.
Right? So it's like they don't use any other running back once they get inside the 20. Like, he's on the field, he's playing snaps. They're using him in the red zone, lots of targets. It's very close, but usually when it's this close, I lean with the running back.
Yeah, and he's the safer bet, I think, of the two. But I think I would go with DJ Moore.
Fantasy Fanatical. Dalton Schultz or Noah Fant, PPR?
Fant. Yeah, I have Fant decent ways ahead of him.
Yep, I go Fant as well.
From R Style 711, Will Fuller, T.Y. Hilton, Jarvis Landry, James White, DJ Moore, Robert Woods. Two of them, the last two, DJ Moore and Robert Woods.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
That's correct.
I Mello or A Mello, Justin Jefferson or Darius Slayton.
I have Slayton ahead of him.
I'll go Slayton, but I'm pretty excited about Jefferson, and I don't think it's just like a chasing last week's points kind of thing. Like, I'm genuinely just excited about him, and I don't think that this is a terrible matchup against Houston either.
Yeah, it's definitely a good matchup. I'm really excited to see what he does this week. Frankie, I'm really interested to see what you and Adam think about this. So what we've heard about Justin Jefferson is that he can only win from the slot, right? But he's not going to run a lot of slot routes. And then last week he puts up 175 yards and a touchdown, and only 6 of his 51 snaps came from the slot. And so people are like, look, he can win from the outside, like that's great. How many of his 175 yards do you think came from the slot? He only ran 6 routes from the slot.
I'm the way that you're phrasing the question, I'm sure that the long touchdown is the one that came from the
115-yard touchdown came from the slot. He was targeted 4 times on his 6 routes run from the slot. That's where, like, not all of his production, but most of it came from. I don't know what to do with that, but I think it's interesting. I think it's something to think about at least.
Yeah, and Jefferson, he leads the team with 60% of his routes in the slot on the season, and Houston allowed a touchdown to Juju out of the slot in week 3, and they allowed a touchdown to Tyreek Hill out of the slot in week 1. So I'm kind of interested in this matchup.
The problem with the matchup, though, is that the Texans have one of the worst run defenses in football, at least so far.
Yeah, it's true.
They've been playing from behind. They've played the Ravens. They've played the Steelers. They've played the Chiefs, but they don't get thrown on a lot. They don't see a lot of pass attempts. Not many. Only one wide receiver's had more than 46 yards, and that was Sammy Watkins, because they just get run on all the time. And what the Vikings want to do. Like Dalvin Cook might get 25 carries. Alexander Madison might get 10 in this game.
I think that's a little bit more game script dependent than just matchup, because they have been losing in all these games because their offense hasn't been able to put up any points against such good defenses. And I think they will be able to score against Minnesota if everybody's, expecting this to be the good get right game for Houston.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good point to bring up.
All right. I have Ronald Jones and Josh Kelly. This is from Muffin Cakes. I like both muffins and cakes. Ronald Jones and Josh Kelly, half PPR. Who's better this week and who's better rest of season?
I lean Ronald Jones for this week. Joshua Kelly all let us down in great matchup against Carolina in week 3. Didn't come through, but I still think that Kelly has more upside for the rest of the season, even with Justin Jackson returning. I'll take Ronald Jones this week, but I like Joshua Kelly more for the season.
Okay.
Yeah, Ronald Jones for sure. Fournette's out. I don't know. Kelly only played 29% of snaps last week. That was definitely concerning.
Oh my gosh, for a guy that's just going to run the ball against the Buccaneers, probably the best run defense in football. Area. Those are pretty crappy options. I would start either muffins or cakes over both of them. From Froggy Mino, will FSU be relevant again? They suck. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. We crushed them. That was amazing. All right, Champ. Sorry. Thank you for letting me do that. Champ.
That's crazy.
DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, Michael Gallup, Ronald Jones, Myles Gaskin.
Are these separate questions or pick 2 from all of them?
Pick 2 from all of them.
Okay.
I'm going to be probably the wide receivers I'm thinking. Moore, Metcalf, Kupp, and Gallup, Jones, and Gaskin. PPR.
Metcalf and Moore, right?
Yes.
Maybe Kupp over Moore? I don't know. Thoughts?
I think it goes back to the game script, right?
Yep. Yeah.
The Rams are going to run a lot in that game against the Giants. I would go with Moore and Metcalf.
Okay. Crowder or Edelman from G. Hernandez?
Edelman for sure.
The Only Weasel, PPR, Edelman, Crowder, Keelan, Cole.
Edelman.
I think we answered this one. Dalton, Schultz, or Zach Ertz, standard scoring. We're going Ertz, but we know it's interesting. Minshew or Mullins?
I have Minshew, but I think Mullins is going to perform better than people expect. I think this is a good spot for him.
Nash Wave 29. How excited are you about T. Higgins rest of season? T. Higgins or N'Keal Harry rest of season?
I'm very excited for T. Higgins. I tweeted about this today. I would rather have him than Harry. Do you agree with that, Frankie?
Yes, I would.
I don't, by the way.
You'd rather have Harry? Adam?
I think so. I
Wow.
actually still am hopeful for AJ Green. I think he got Darius Slayton last week. His offensive coordinator is making some excuses for him, said the hamstring injury that he suffered before camp, he's finally getting over it, and he's optimistic. I'm still optimistic. Look, first of all, I don't like rookie wide receivers, and I do like second-year wide receivers a lot. People know me. That's my philosophy. I think Higgins is at best the third receiver on the team, and Harry is clearly number 2. I don't really like either of them that much, but I just feel like Higgins, what did he have? Like 8 yards per catch. If he caught 2 balls in the end zone, if he just had like the 5 for 45 or whatever the heck it was, nobody's picking him up. But he got the touchdowns. AJ Green was being shadowed. It's concerning that AJ Green couldn't shake loose from Darius Slay, but I just don't see it for Higgins. I'm not really that excited about him. It's not, he didn't do anything this year other than be in the end zone for 2 of his catches.
Well, I mean, I will counter and say that his volume has increased every single game. It's not like he just played a few snaps and got 2 touchdowns. Like, he played 80% of the snaps. He played more snaps than AJ Green or Boyd, I think. His snap rate has gone up each week. His target share has gone up 22% last week. He was 5th among all players in air yards last week, 150 air yards. And we saw AJ Green shrink to like, I think 50 air yards. I think you said worst case he is the third receiver, but they don't really have a tight end with Uzoma out. They use Sample much more as a blocker, and so I think given how often they're going 5 wide, 3 receivers could be viable. Just given how often they drop back too, they're near the top of the league in dropbacks per play. And so for a team that's gonna be playing from behind a lot, as a floor, T. Higgins is the third option and is going to be a boom bust guy you can use occasionally. But the ceiling is AJ Green gets hurt or AJ Green is actually washed. And then Higgins is potentially their number 1 guy with Boyd continuing to play the slot role.
Wash. Why do people say it's washed up?
Yeah, I think that last point is probably your bet. Like, AJ Green might just be done.
He might be.
He's had so many injuries. It's
put up or shut up this week for AJ Green.
I hope he's not. I love AJ Green. The NFL is more fun when AJ Green is good. But I do think there's a floor for Higgins, even if Green continues to be good. So we'll see.
All right, couple things here. We are beginning next week. Our Thursday show is going to be from 4 to 6 p.m. Not 7 p.m. 4 to 6 p.m. And this Sunday, join us at 4 p.m. Eastern. The Twitch Lowe's Chiefs Patriots home team watch party. Damian Williams hopping on, Danny Woodhead hopping on, industry guests hopping on, Will Brinson, Dave Richard. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got about 5 minutes left, guys. Let's go rapid fire, beginning with Clay's 369. Crowder, Renfro, or James White, PPR?
Renfro.
Mm-hmm.
Full PPR from Chance. Gesicki, Fant, or Higbee?
I think I have Gesicki out of that group. And I know I have Higbee last, which would surprise people, but just based on everything we talked about with the routes run coming down, the targets coming down. I have Gesicki 6th, especially if Jamal Adams is out. This sets up great for him in a spot where Miami might have to, throw the ball 40 times while trying to.
Jacob, we got rapid fire.
Oh,
right?
I forgot it was rapid fire. My bad.
Gesicki. DJ Moore or DJ Chark?
Moore.
DJ Moore, yeah.
All right. PPR, we already read this one. Preston Williams, T. Higgins, or Golden Tate, or Deshaun Jackson? Preston Williams, T. Higgins, Golden Tate, Deshaun Jackson. I do not know the format.
I was waiting for a Preston Williams question all night.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I'm going Preston Williams there.
I love it. I mean, I would go Djax if he's playing, but I'm in on the Preston Williams hype train too.
PPR, who do you like better, Greg Ward or T.Y. Hilton?
Hilton.
Still Hilton.
Yeah, I don't feel good about it, but Hilton.
Real quick, how come nobody is high on Mo Alley Cox?
He ran like 8 routes last week.
Right. He's just doing so much with his targets. It's just not sustainable.
He's so touchdown dependent too.
And who's coming back for them?
Doyle.
Trey Burton, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's gonna throw another name in the mix. Okay, sorry. E. Feinberg 14 is kind of salty. Never gets his questions answered. If I see another question from you, E. Feinberg, I will read it. Trying to find some new ones here. Ayuk, Marvin Jones, or Ronald Jones? PPR.
If Fournette's out, it's Rojo. If not, I would go Marvin Jones.
That sounds fair.
If you think Patrick Peterson's going to slow down DJ Moore, it could be a big. All right, I'm going to the wrong game. I was thinking of Robbie Anderson. Sorry. if you think Kenny Galladay is going to get slowed down, then it could be a big game for Marvin.
Terry McLaurin or Devontae Parker, PPR? That's a fun one. That's easy for me, though, actually.
I'm going to go Devontae Parker, even if Terry McLaurin plays.
Yeah, they're really close, but I prefer Parker. Such a better game script for him.
Parker is my start of the week. Renfro is my second start. They are
Don't back down from it, man. It's a great call.
Austin Eckler or Miles Sanders, standard scoring?
Miles Sanders.
I prefer Miles Sanders. He got really unlucky last week. He had a wide open 54-yard touchdown. The Wentz just overthrew him on.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Now I'm angry. Now I'm mad at Carson Wentz. That would have won me a couple leagues. Montgomery or James White, PPR?
Montgomery.
Let's see. Have you ever had vegan cheese and used it on grilled cheese or quesadillas? No, I have not. Sure, God. It's fine though.
I had vegan mozzarella sticks once.
Not
easily
good.
The worst decision I ever made.
Oh no.
Let's see what we got here. Dalton Schultz or Evan Ingram, half PPR.
Schultz.
Yeah, I think I have Schultz one spot ahead of him. I think Ingram's the higher upside play though.
Dalton Schultz or Haydenhurst?
I think you have to go. Wait, the thing is, we're not going to know which Falcons pass catchers are playing, so it makes it tough. If you know that Julio and Russell Gage are going to play by Sunday, then I would use Schultz.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have Hurst one spot higher right now, but I agree with Frankie. What he said there.
From New Skittles, George Kittle, Jeff Wilson or Darius Slayton is the question. Wilson. Slayton.
Yeah.
MVS or Renfro? Oh, man, that's a killer. MVS might be another one of my starts of the week.
There's such polar opposites, too. I think they're very close, and it's just like, do you need upside or do you need a safe floor in PPR? If you need upside, you're definitely going with MVS.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go Renfro.
I lean Renfro.
Who should I pick up? Renfro, Evan Ingram, or MVS?
Depends what you need. I mean, if you just want to take the shot on the upside tight end, I would go with Ingram. But if you don't need a tight end, then I would probably go with MVS.
Yeah, I think MVS, because we don't know how bad the Lazard injury is going to be. But if MVS just really balls out this week, his perceived value could be a lot higher next week than any of the other two players.
All right, pick two. AJ Green, Sammy Watkins, Mecole Hardman, James White, Ronald Jones, Jerick McKinnon. AJ Green, Sammy Watkins, Hardman, White, Ronald Jones, McKinnon.
McKinnon for sure. The next one is tough.
McKinnon and Ronald Jones?
Well, Ronald Jones if Fournette is out.
Yeah, I think that would be the answer. If not, are we going AJ Green out of that group?
I don't feel good about it, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's him or like James White.
Guys, I think Allen Lazard is out for the season. Seeing people make that in Twitch.
Go add MVS right now.
Yeah, for sure. That's really a bummer. He has surgery. He's out indefinitely. Could be for the season. And let's see. We're almost out of time. I'm looking for that guy who said we never answer his question. MVS or Darius Slayton?
I have Slayton ranked higher right now, but I'm going to have to look at it more now that we know Lazard is out. I think you could definitely make a case for MVS. It's a much better spot for him.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of
their implied total is like almost double what the Giants' implied total is.
Yeah, I think you got to go MVS now.
I'm going MVS. Yeah, McLaurin or Judy, half PPR.
McLaurin, hope that he plays. Popped up on the injury report on Thursday.
Crowder, Renfro, or Antonio Gibson?
I think if it's
start of the week.
If it's PPR, I'll go Renfro. If it's non, I'll go Gibson.
It's PPR.
PPR Renfro.
Yeah.
Would you drop Laviska Shenault for MVS? Hell yes, I'd do that. Would have done that before the injury. Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
I got my Xbox on in the background.
Oh, wow. I have to settle the tie. I have one of those little Nintendos, the original Nintendo. They re-released it with the digital games. I'll go with that. Okay, this is it. Last question or two. Waller or Fant? That's interesting. Waller or Fant?
Waller, right?
Yeah.
I think you have to, but I'm nervous about it.
Bills just shut down every tight end when those linebackers are healthy. So I get it, but it's like, are we really that excited about Brett Rippin? I think you got to go Waller.
Yeah.
Okay, and Marvin Jones or Preston Williams?
I'd go Marvin Jones. I'm excited for Preston Williams, but the role is so much more assured with Marvin Jones.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. love hanging out with y'all on Thursday nights. Remember, we're 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays going forward. So it's 8 o'clock on Tuesday, 4 to 6 on Thursday, noon Eastern on Sunday. And then we will have basically every other week, not exactly, but it'll average out to every other week, the Lowe's home team watch party at 4 p.m. Eastern. So thanks again, everybody. Good luck this week. Let's go football. I don't care who wins tonight, so let's go football, fantasy football in particular. For Jacob Gibbs, Frank Stanfill, I'm Adam Azer. We'll talk to you on Sunday at noon.